Happy Wednesday out there, all of the members of the Swing Collective. Back here for another week. Can't get rid of us. We're just going to keep going until someone bans us from the internet. I'm Ando. We got Izzy. We got Jason Byrd here. Another week of some fun topics we got for everybody. Just kind of throw it around the world here. I've had a pretty fun golfing week here the past week. Took down the Memorial Day mixer non-mixed division
Let's go.
down at McGregor
Does that
Country.
count as the first win for the Swing Collective? I mean, I think it does.
I think it does. I'll tell you what it is. In my 5 years of membership at McGregor Links Country Club in Saratoga Springs, New York, it's my first tournament win. So I'll be happy with that. Although it was only a scramble, me and the boys came in at 18 under. We were throwing darts.
You didn't have a essential wedge working.
18 under net. Let me be fair. We got some strokes out there. That's not gross.
Okay.
But yeah, really happy with the performance. Had a chance to put a new driver into play. I've been playing the Sim 2 for the past 3 years. Was talking to a friend of the collective who runs a rather well-known golf equipment review site, and he said, "Hey man, you gotta play a driver with that you're gonna hit the ball less high and a little less fade." So first time in my life I've started gaming a Titleist club. Put the TSR3 in the bag.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a solid choice.
Started off a little rough. Once I got it figured out, man, just pasting the ball. So really was really happy with how that went.
Nice.
Carried that over into my Tuesday night golf league this week. Split my match this week, but still sitting 1 point back of first place in our division, in our flight. So the golfing year for myself is started off pretty well. Other than that, the Christopher Daly Foundation 9-year-old girls softball team is taking up a bit of my time. We had a tough loss tonight, 18-8. We started off with the 5-0 lead and couldn't keep the pitching together. And the uncapped last inning really got us when they put up a 8 spot on us. But hey, you know what? It's for the kids. We're having fun out there, and it's a blast to watch my daughter and be out there with her and the girls and watch them get a little better each week. So that's what's going on in my life. What about you, Bird?
Man, I'm just happy with the way that you introduced the show, because you just said, welcome the members of the Swing Collectives. That tells me it's not just the three of us.
That's right.
It's not just B and Noah, who will be on later episodes. Wish those guys would get back here as quickly as possible. But it's everybody that's watching us right now, man. We're all the Swing Collective.
That's right.
So congratulations on bringing that trophy home, the first victory of the Swing Collective, of what will sure to be many more to come.
I'd say we turned that around fast.
Yeah, dude. Well, I like that the man went and took care of business, because that's what members of the Swing Collective does.
We went from not losing to winning in about 2 weeks.
From not last to I mean, I'm not going to quote Ricky Bobby here, but Ando took it seriously, man. That's what's up. I love that.
Damn right.
Well, listen, man. Y'all hear that drum beat? I think you hear the drum beat because the Birdman's got a little something going on too. I played over the weekend. It feels like it rained for what feels like the 46th consecutive day in Birdland. And Izzy, you don't live far enough away from me that you're getting the same thing, man. It's like raining every day. But There was a magical time last weekend when the sun was shining and was able to get out on the course. I played Ashley Plantation. It's not far from now. It's probably the next closest course to Izzy and my house than Blue Hills, where we typically play, where we're both members. But Ashley was dialed in, man, and it was definitely a good news, bad news. I'll give you the bad news first. Despite the fact that I felt like I had command of every club in the bag and was hitting it more or less the way I wanted it to, I had 2 triples and 2 doubles on the round. Inexplicable. The one first triple I had, man, drive was in the middle of the fairway, and I still found a way to make a triple out of it. So, man, yay me. But 2
We've all been
triples,
there, brother.
2 doubles. But listen, I still shot an 88. My first round of the
Okay.
year under 90. So
It's legit.
if you've been watching the Swing Collective from the beginning, and I know many of you have, we're on Apple, we're on YouTube, we're everywhere you want to be. You know that I started this year in the simulator, guys. Let me just step out of the way here for a second. I'm down here in the learning lab,
In the
and
laboratory.
and spending the time down here. I found a way to start watching every video on YouTube. Literally, I checked. I've watched every golf video that's been posted, and it reduced my swing down to just a pile of sticks. I've been building the house back, and there's fundamental things that we all have to do. We should probably do an episode where we just talk about swing thoughts and good parts to our game. But one of the things I did, and we've all talked about this before, is just start paying attention to maybe one person. Maybe you have a coach in your life and you're taking lessons. Then just deal with that person. What I'm doing is I've got a lot of people that I really like on YouTube, but I decided I need to just start listening to one channel, and that person is Danny Maud. So out of all the ones I listen to and I like, and certainly Danny doesn't have the market cornered on good swing thoughts and good coaching and everything, but I'm just watching Danny Maud's content, trying to put that into play and kind of slowly and surely building the game back. So I ended up having 9 pars on the round. The rest bogeys, and then 2 doubles, 2 triples, ended up shooting an 88. I was ecstatic with that. I wanted to break 90. It's the first time I've broken 90 this year. For those of you that are in the Swing Collective, watching the Swing Collective, and you're going, man, 90 sucks. I agree. But did you know that only about 1 in 5 regular amateur golfers that play regularly break 90? So if you're breaking 90 out there, congratulations. You are in the upper echelon, the top 20%
Top 20,
of amateur
right.
golfers. And I think that 90 now is the ceiling. I want to say, knock on wood. That's the ceiling. We're going to go a lot lower than 90. And that round could have easily broken 85. I could have been closer to 80. Y'all know that's my goal. We've talked about it since we launched the Swing Collective. I want to be regularly breaking 80 by the end of this year. Got a long way to go, but I felt damn good. I've been hitting every night down here, except tonight because I'm talking to my boys. And I'll play some this weekend, or I'll just play in here depending on the weather. I've got a round scheduled on Monday, and I expect to break 90 again. So not everybody's goal, but it's the Bird's goal, and I'm gonna see if I can just keep building on this, man. But super excited. Only thing that would make me more excited is to get out there and play around with one of you cats, and we're gonna try to do that as quickly as possible. But anyway,
Yes,
that's
sir.
what's going on here, man. How about you, Izzy? I know you haven't got to play a lot because the real world kind of infringes, but what's going on with your game? You reading anything, watching anything, taking any cuts inside?
So I actually pulled or tore something in my right shoulder like a week ago, and it's just now at a point where I have some like mobility in it. I actually tried to swing a club a few days ago, and that was a great mistake to even try that. I haven't worked out. Also, it's been tough, man. My mental health is just, right off the cliff. Exercise and golf are kind of my 2 outlets for enjoyment in life right now, and couldn't do either of those for a little bit. I couldn't play either one, weather, as Bird mentioned, but also, I travel for work, and I was out of town up in Wisconsin, and spent a few days inventorying and throwing away about 80,000 pounds of rotten cheese. So it was, I have a bag of clothes that are going in the garbage and a pair of boots that I need to replace. So,
Terrible.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough couple of days, but we got it done, and I'm back home, and I'm hoping to play a couple of rounds this week if I can get them in this coming week. I was going to ask you, Bird, where are you playing Monday?
I'm playing in Richmond,
Oh, okay,
Virginia
that's
on
right, for your
Monday.
league. Okay.
Yeah, and I tell you what, man, I mentioned it on the show last week. I think I fell apart in my round down there. Quest to break 90 did not work out the way I wanted it to,
Yeah.
but I only missed the top of my flight by 4 strokes. So
Yeah.
I want to get back at it. I can play better than I played 2 weeks ago. I'm excited about that. But if the weather holds out, man, Saturday looks like we'll have a window of time that works here, and I'm free Sunday too. I'm a bachelor again this weekend. Mrs. Byrd is going out of town uh, to Busch Gardens, man. She's gonna ride some roller coasters. I've actually got a medical procedure taking place Tuesday morning that's going to take me out of action for about a week.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get as much golf as I can in this weekend and Monday to tide me over. Maybe chipping and putting by Thursday or Friday of next week. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I got to take it easy for about 5 days before I can get back at it.
All
If
right.
you
Well,
could send me some updates, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, while I'm sitting in an auditorium for the, I don't know, I think I have 4 dance recitals that I have to go to this weekend.
Are you
Um,
performing or just watching?
uh, Man, who knows? By the end of it, I might be performing.
Oh, I'd
I'll
watch that, man.
see
Put
it
that on
enough. But
YouTube. That's our next
yeah.
episode.
Look, that'll be the next episode. It's just
yeah,
you
That's right.
on stage
I'll
in a
watch it.
tutu.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Me running out of an auditorium crying because I can't play golf for the 3rd day in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
tough.
part of the deal was when I agreed to coach this girls softball team that Sundays were mine. Nope, not this week.
Right.
So no golf for me this weekend. But
Flew too close to
Yeah.
the sun.
that's it, brother.
And one other thing I neglected to mention to you guys in the spirit of new equipment reveals here, really excited that you put that Titleist in the bag. I did a driver fitting and it was down to like the last two. I went with the Ping 430 instead. And I don't think I could have gone wrong going with the Titleist. I will say, unpaid, non-paid review here for Ping. Ping's not sponsoring the Swing Collective just yet, although you can. I know you're watching us out there on YouTube and listening to us on Apple. So Ping, give us a call, man. We work something out. But that Ping 430, man, it might as well have a cheat code because if I do what I'm supposed to do, that thing is long and straight, and so I love it. But I needed to put something in the bag between my 3 hybrid and my 5 iron. I just had too much of a gap there, so I have the Ping 3 hybrid. I'm like, let me try the 4 hybrid out. 4 hybrid, I hit about as well as the 3 hybrid. I'm in love with this club. So
Yeah.
one of my wedges had to go. I was carrying pitching wedge, gap wedge, 52, 56, 60. One of them had to go. There was no room at the end. So what I decided to do, I wasn't real happy with my wedges anyway. And Izzy, we talked about that when we were down at Four Plays event in Charlotte. So I ditched the 52, the 56, and the 60. And after a lot of research, what I saw is you kind of want to just bridge the gap equidistantly as possible. So I put them away. I picked up the Cleveland 54 and 58. So I'm not carrying a 60. It's okay.
Yeah.
Couldn't hit the damn thing anyway. So I went with a 54 and a 58, and I gamed them for the first time in that round. I broke 90. So man, really, really, really happy with these clubs. They're easy to hit, a little wider sole than the wedges that I was carrying, and people say the short game is where you kind of make or break your game. I can tell you, I know they're at least half right because that's where I've been breaking my game for years, man. I just bleed so many strokes around the green. I can putt all right. It's getting those last 100 yards in that I just give strokes away. I'm not giving as many strokes away with the 54 and 58. So I'm excited to see what's coming, man. So equipment reveals on the Swing Collective are only good if they're working for you. Right now, it sounds like you, Ando, sounds like a driver's working. I think these wedges are going to work for me as well.
So I carry a 54 and a 60, a Vokey 54 and 60. Tuesday night in my golf league, we're down a point on the last hole. I hit a really shitty tee ball on a short par three, 170 downhill. Kind of chunked it a little bit. Had about 50 yards in, pulled the 60 in just a really terrible spot, really terrible lie. Put it on the lip of the cup.
Hey, boy, that's the
Part of
way
the
to
whole tie led us to the tie. So
right.
like you said, man, short game is short game is where it's made.
That's fun.
Love
That's
it.
funny that you mentioned Bird. The 60 degree is my favorite club in the bag.
One of my
I
favorites too.
feel I use it for. I mean, I have specific distances for the 56 and for the 52.
Yeah.
And I may pull one if I don't want to do. I may, maybe a 56 distance, so I'll pull the 52 and not do a full swing and 60 to 56. But in terms of around the green, 90% of the time I'm using my 60. It's the
Nice.
most versatile club in the bag, and I feel the most confident with it. And it's so interesting that you talk to another golfer and they're like, I don't even want it in my bag. But I wanted to ask you, before I say that, I think doing a what's in the bag would be a good episode where we
Yeah.
can go through talking about, because I game every club I have in my bag is a TaylorMade, except for my driving iron, which I have a T200, Titleist T200, and it is. I mean, I'll never get rid of it. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it is my safety club off the tee in every
Perfect.
situation.
I'm like you. I don't even care. I don't even carry a sandwich. My si-
Really?
my 60 is my sandwich.
Yeah, I have the 56, which is the sand wedge, but I tend to use the 60 out of the bunker anyway,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
have two. I have I have three shots I have 3 shots out of the bunker. Either I somehow hit it right, I flub it, or it's on the other side of the green. So
Yeah.
um, if I have the 60, hopefully it goes up. But I was going to ask, you got the new wedges, Bird. When we talked about it before, your previous wedges had a really sharp leading edge. Those.
Yeah. Right.
The Lazarus. Do you feel like that may be why you like the newer ones? They have a little bit of a soft
100%.
leading edge.
100%. I too was going with the 60 out of the sand most often, unless won't say it like a shot like Bryson had at the U.S. Open. Not carrying it that far, but if I have a lot of green to work with, I might go 56 out of the sand. But I have 3 shots out of the sand. Bad, worse, and why in the hell do you play golf? Those are kind of my 3 shots out of the sand, and just really not good. Say 60 yards in. But what I've determined, man, is in all seriousness, way too many chunks. And when I'm not chunking it, I'm blading them, especially out of the bunker, but not exclusively out of the bunker. I was blading a bunch. And you've played with me, man, where I just need to commit to a slower backswing and staying down through the shot. And when I do that, I hit I think all of us would hit any wedge well.
When you keep your eyes down,
Yeah.
you hit it good every time. That's
Right.
the only thing I've noticed where you're like,
Inconsistent. I know
The
it.
most common issue with the amateur golfer out of a bunker is decelerating through the. You gotta commit to accelerating through the
That's right.
ball in the
For
sand,
sure, man.
or you're gonna leave it in the bunker.
But to answer your question, much wider sole on this on these Cleveland by design. It's the CBX, and by design helps you eliminate the chunks, at least help you reduce them. I am not chunking the ball now. I'm making solid contact. I'm not always using them. I'll use them for distance, but also if I don't have anything between me and the hole and I'm just off the green, I'm also chipping with a pitching wedge and an 8-iron some. And
okay,
we'll say he's a friend of the Swing Collective because I met him at an event. He's certainly a friend of mine now. David Frost, former PGA champion winner, was in the Charles Schwab last week as a former winner of that tournament. So he was in. Didn't quite go his way. All right. The Birdman made a little bit of money on a prop bet, which African golfer will finish highest. 4 choices. Frosty was one of them. I didn't go with him. I went with the guy who ended up winning me some money, man. So I was happy about that. But anyway, to kind of get back to it, Frosty, when I met him, he said, American golfers, why do you want to hit your wedges with so much loft? Why do you want to be around the green using a 56 or a 58 or a 60, some even a 64? I know some people carry those.
That's
And,
wild.
I'm not going to tell you, whatever works for y'all. If you love your 60, I'm not going to talk you out of it. But, Frosty's thing was get that ball on the ground as quickly as possible. So I will continue to use my 54, 58 if I got to carry a bunker or, uphill. Got to carry something. But if it's relatively flat, not a whole lot of trouble between me and the hole, I've been using the pitching wedge and sometimes even the 8. A lot of success. I find that I'm hitting them too hard because I'm not used to it. I really have to continue to practice.
Yeah.
So I tend sometimes to go past the hole, sometimes where you don't want to be with a downhill putt or something like that. But certainly continuing to work on that, and I'm gonna commit to it. But long-winded answer there. But the 54 and 58 with that wider sole is certainly saving me some strokes around the green. I'm excited to see what these next few weeks of golf hold.
I mean, I'll play that wedge or 8-iron shot too. Usually, if I'm using a 60 around the green, it's when I'm 2 or 3 feet off. So I'm just trying to pop it onto the green with some backspin to keep it from rolling out.
Solid.
If I am playing it with some loft, it's because I'm 10 yards off the green into a downhill slope on the green. I don't really want to play a pitching wedge there and run the ball because it's just going to run for days. So I'm trying to pop it up and get it to kind of one hop and stop, and maybe roll out a little bit. So
for sure.
Yeah, no, I love those. I love that.
Well, guys, I have a dream, and my dream is to play those 2 Mike Strand's courses here in Virginia, talking about Royal Kent and Stonebridge.
Yeah, and my hope is to get out there to play them with you, brother.
I'm telling you, man. So the first half of that is not so much a dream as it's just a question of when it happens this year. But the dream is to get the collective there. Let's all do it together, man. That would be freaking awesome. So
yes, sir.
Really hoping we make that happen, and that will wind me up, man. Remind me, Ando, because you're a big Strands disciple yourself. How many of those have you played?
I've played Tot Hill. I've played True Blue. I've played Tobacco Road. Played three of the 6 available to me.
Okay. So you're just one behind me. You got to pick up Caledonia is all you got to do down in Myrtle. And still, man, favorite spot. Although I know I've said it on the collective many times. I think Caledonia is the favorite course that I've played. And I went back thinking about it last week. I don't know, man. Tobacco Road is pretty damn sweet. So maybe I need to go back and rethink Tobacco Road and Caledonia because they might flip flop one another. So I don't
know. I love Tie Hill Farm, man. I thought Tie Hill was a beautiful property. I thought it was a little more forgiving than the other Strands courses, the other 2 I've played.
So it's funny that you say that, and I can't remember. We played it together last year, the day before we went to the U.S. Open. So I guess we played it on a Friday, right? And then we went to the U.S. Open on Saturday.
June 5th or something like that. I don't know.
So was it really dry? What was going on?
We were at Tie Hill?
Yeah.
It was hot. It was really hot.
All right. So I don't know. I've played it twice, and I had played it once before we went down there, and I got it on a day that was really wet, kind of nasty. It was early in the year too, like it was April. So
right. I remember. Yeah, I remember when you went down there for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think I've seen it when it's at its best. And you went down and played it again after we did, right?
I did. I played it 2 weeks later in a Golfers Journal event. I mean, it was just phenomenal, perfect condition.
And how was it compared to the two?
So it was a little less hard. I mean, they'd had a little bit of rain. I can't remember. We might have even gotten a little sprinkle that day. But yeah, I thought it was fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just can't remember what's the par 5 on the front. The second par 5, maybe it's number 7. It's number 7 or number 8. I just know that.
Oh, the uphill one. Yep.
And I posted the highest score, not with you that day, but with a friend of mine I played it with last April. I posted the highest score on a hole I've ever posted in my life. So I will always have PTSD showing back up there. And what sucked about it was I piped the drive. It's pretty severely downhill before it goes uphill. So I piped the drive down into that bottom. And then I just chewed up some yards with my second shot. I was laying two. Third shot was 90 yards in, and I might have hit it 88 yards, and it rolled right back to me.
Oh.
Next one went over the green, and what I didn't realize is there's a pretty significant drop off on the other side too. And then I just started playing tennis, using the green as a net, down the hill, and I shot a 14 on that hole, and it pains me to think about it. Now you and I went back and I parred it. So
Yeah, well, and that one sticks in my head for equally as painful reasons because I was about 70 yards out in two. I stuck it to 5 inches. Walked up in this event I'm playing, and no one said, "Hey, it's good," and I missed the putt.
Oh no,
that's tough.
Yeah, missed the birdie putt from 5 inches.
That's tough.
How
How does one do that? What happened? I'm just curious.
I just kind of didn't take my time on it, and it broke super hard right, and didn't really notice.
Yeah, and you were in an event where someone could have called it good, and you could have picked it up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I'm in the league that I'm in Monday in Richmond. There are no gimmies. 5 inches, nobody can give it to you. You have to put it out. That's fine, whatever. But if you're in an event where it's 5 inches and they can give it to you, I don't usually cuss on this podcast, and I'm not going to start now. But I'm just going to say F those guys, man.
Well, we did. So the funny thing is, we didn't. This is my first event I played in with this group. We didn't know that that there were gimmies. I walked up to it and I was like, "Oh, is it good?" And my dad's like, "I don't know. I think you got to putt it." And of course, I missed it. And those guys didn't say after, "Oh, that was fun." The next hole, I was about 11 inches away. I walked up and they said, "Oh, yeah, that's good." When I was putting for bogey on the next hole. And I was like, "Oh well." I made a joke. I said, "Where was that last hole?" Thanks.
I think there are gimme rules, right? A short gimme for bogey is like all right.
Well, yeah.
If it's 5 inches for birdie, I'm never giving that.
I don't know about that. I'm doing
okay. Okay. So you made me bring one up, man. Let me get the hot take here.
All
we
right.
won't make this the big up, slow down segment that we used to do, but let me run this one by you. All right. I'm playing with a dude that I went to high school with. He doesn't play anymore, but used to play quite regularly together. And he used to say, "Man, there's no such thing as a gimme on a birdie. I got to see the birdie putt." So maybe Izzy, you're going to side with him on this one. All right. His dad, when we played together, was maybe knocking on the door 70 years old. And so we would play, Vic and I, his dad, and my son, right? So the four of us would show up and we would play best ball, 2v2, fathers and sons. I would suggest, hey, let's shuffle it up because Noah and I were significantly better than the two of them. They wouldn't hear of it. His dad, even though he's close to 70 years old, would not go up to the senior tees. He insisted on hitting from the men's with the rest of us. Man, you need to be up there, man. Take the senior tees. Wouldn't hear of it. And we'd beat them like drums, except this one time. And here's the take I want you to give me. All right. We're on 17T, and Noah and I are one up. Okay. So I don't think it was all square. Pretty sure we were one up because 17 ended up clinching it for us. We get to the green, and I'm off the green, or else I had a long putt. I don't remember. Just past, I maybe had 40, 50 feet, and just past the hole, a significant uphill. Greenskeeper was a little bit of a dick putting the hole so close. It was right up against it, right? So I putt, and I put some decent pace on it. I go past the hole, and I miss it by, a ball or two. It was close-ish, but not great. It goes up the hill, stops, rolls back into the hole. Right? Up the hill, back down into the hole.
Okay.
They turn around, especially his dad turns around and looks at me and he goes, "Well, you're not going to count that, are you?" And I'm like, "It's in the hole." He goes, "Yeah, but you're not going to count that, are you?" I said, "Well, look at it from the other side. Where would you have me mark it?" He goes, "Mark it at the bottom of the hill. Give yourself, it would be about a 5-inch putt, Ando, something like that." And I said, "No, man, that's good. I made the putt." And that put us, and we won 2-1. They finished the round. We played 18. They didn't say a whole lot. We never played together again.
Wait, I'm
So
confused. You
Well,
made
that's
you
you
made
made
a putt and he was mad that it rolled back into the
because
hole.
it went past up the hill, took a little bit of a turn to the right, and back down into the hole.
I
So
mean,
it's not like it was
I
big.
don't even understand.
I'm
No
offended you think
disrespect
I'd be
to
on the
you.
bad side.
The fact that we just wasted a minute of our lives even discussing it, if this is something that should be considered,
Right.
is one of the most that guy should take 2 weeks off and quit. Is
Well, he
what
must
that guy
have.
should.
I think you
We
already
never
quit.
played together again.
Good.
And
I mean, that's the best thing.
Right.
That's the best thing probably that ever happened to you in your life.
Right. But where are you going to mark the damn thing? But he
It
was
doesn't. There's no place to mark it. It went in the
right.
hole.
Right.
If it stopped, and then you were walking up to mark it, and a gust of wind hit it, and it rolled into the hole, even then, that still counts.
So if I hit a ball and it ricochets off a tree and goes in the hole, I'm supposed to just go drop it back over by the tree
Pretend like
because
it
it went
wasn't
in the
there.
hole and he's
Look,
not happy.
my man was reaching. He was
Yeah.
reaching.
That's I
We
mean
wanted to win. We all
some
want
of
to
the
win.
dumbest. It's one of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I
Well,
mean that
good. Thank you. I've
yeah
never met anybody that took his stance on that, but I'm like, hey, there's always an opportunity. So
That's wild. I'm
shoot
offended
them
you
out.
think I would have taken his side.
Listen, for anybody out there on like Apple Podcasts, YouTube watching us right now
Yeah.
that is in agreement, please you're no longer a member of the collective.
Yeah.
You're the
You're
first
out.
one out of here,
Send us a comment.
lose
I
my
care.
number. Lose my number because I
Yeah,
don't want
well,
to be associated with you.
I
Because
want to. I want to hear somebody argue the other side.
Yeah, argue the other side. Put a comment down. Argue the other side, and let us know why we are going to ban you from watching our channel.
Right.
yeah, I mean,
Anyway,
you can argue with these guys because I'm not dedicating any more time in my life on this topic.
second,
Let's move on. I think we have other stuff to talk about now. I mean, that just really I think that kind of put the nail in the coffin in terms of that bullshit.
second.
You know?
I was just going to say, man, second most tragic golf story I have for the collective, and I'll share the first one on a later episode. It will blow your mind. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait. I guess I can't wait. For the next one if it's more ridiculous than that. I don't even know.
It's a lesson in how to f up a good sales relationship, which might apply to some of us on the collective.
Okay.
Oh,
Might
great.
have sales jobs in our regular lives.
We need to start writing this down.
I have a similar one from a golfing / sales experience as well that we maybe again for another episode I'll share that one as well.
Which one is more tragic? That's great.
Moving along, so the we had the Charles Schwab last weekend, Memorial coming up this weekend. I think we can kind of talk about these as collectively, like how I did that there. I think that there's also some symmetry between them being, Ben Griffin's kind of stellar play at the. I mean, all in all, he actually had a rough Sunday after his hot start. I think he went birdie eagle to start. I think he was 4 over the rest of the day. So there were some other guys too that struggled down the stretch. Ricky Fowler. Thanks, Ricky. I love you. Cost me a nice chunk of change by.
If you were going to bring that up.
Yeah, by I don't know. I think he finished. I think he was 5 over for the day. Could have been 3 over, and could have bought Mama a new pair of shoes. So, but no, Ben Griffin does that, and it's for those of you out there that have been kind of watching the tour this year. I think he's a really interesting story, mainly because it's just been kind of building with this guy. I'll tell you, going into this year, I think I may have heard his name once or twice, and I kind of knew who he was. Then the beginning of this year, it's like, oh, Ben Griffin's in a few top fives, and then it's Ben Griffin's playing on Sunday for a lead and then didn't make it. Then Ben Griffin won a tournament, and I think he won the New Orleans, right? I think he won
Yeah, yeah,
the team event. And even then, the knock then, it's funny, the double standard, right? Because when Rory and Shane Lowry win it last year, everyone's like, wow, look at these guys teaming up and dominating. And when Ben Griffin wins, it's kind of like, well, that doesn't really count because it's a team
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
So kudos to him for just continuing to improve this year, getting better, and then you turn on the Memorial today, and like I said, kind of linking them together. And Ben Griffin, look at that, 7 under, continuing to play stellar golf, and if he keeps it up, he might be a guy that we need to watch. I mean, not I don't know if it's going to be most improved or how he falls in terms of his experience, but talk about a guy getting hot at the right time with the Open coming up. So interested to hear you guys' thoughts on the Memorial and the Schwab.
Yeah, man. Izzy, what are you thinking, brother?
Well, I'd say with the Schwab, it was one of those tournaments where, again, a lot of the big names just weren't in their top form. It didn't even really seem like, I guess, like you said, Fowler was in that final group, and maybe he had a chance, but he kind of fell off. And there's a couple other guys. It seemed like they had a little bit of momentum going into end of Saturday, going into Sunday, and then a lot of people had really bad Sundays. I mean, the playing conditions must have been really tough that last day because, I mean, the winner went, what was it, +4 on the day to win the tournament.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the stats, the leaderboard. A lot of people went positive and quite a bit on that Sunday. So I don't know what changed about I have to imagine it was the environment of the day. Maybe the heat came out or something. But it just seemed from it's cool to see Ben Griffin win. And it's also, I mean, to him doing that this past weekend, and then now he's front running on the Memorial by 2 strokes on Colin. That's kind of a cool storyline to follow. But in terms of the Schwab, it wasn't a tournament that I was like hooked into. I'll be honest.
I mean, the thing, and before we throw it back to you, Bird, the thing that I thought was fun. We talked about the Schwab last week, right? Before on our last episode, and we were kind of like, Scotty's going to win this thing by 50.
Yeah.
And did that happen? No. But I think that one thing we learned, I don't know if we learned it, but it was just reinforced again. Scotty Scheffler makes a cut. There's a good chance Scotty Scheffler is going to figure out a way to insert himself in the conversation on Sunday. That guy he made it on the cut line. And I was kind of like, looking at some bets and stuff, and thinking, and on Saturday morning, I'm like, do I want to really throw some money on Scotty top 5? I was like, it's going to be a tough road for him to get there. And I mean, dude almost came back and won the tournament, it just goes ahead, with the momentum he has this year, just showing that you can never count that guy out of anything. And there's no one that fights on tour like him.
Listen, man, I've learned my lesson with Scotty, right? Well documented last week. I was still getting texts and Instagram reels and love notes in the mail from Ando saying, "I told you so. I told you so. I told you so." I will not.
I got to show you this new tattoo I got. No, I'm just kidding.
I will never bet against the man again. Might not take him, but I won't bet against him. That's for sure. And I think leading into the Schwab, when everyone said, he's going to win by 50 strokes, they might cancel the last round of the tournament and call slaughter rule. It felt like a trap. And then he came out first round and he's 3 under on 4T, and I'm like, oh, Pac's only at 7 under in the lead.
Yeah, you messaged the group, man, and you were like, hey, Scotty's 3 back. The problem is he still has 14 holes to go.
14, so I couldn't get to the betting app fast enough. Yeah. Scotty is the first round leader. And I got it. I'm trying to log in. I actually had a little trouble with my account. And then what do we see on 5, 6, 7, 8? The putting. Always, if there is an Achilles heel, a Scheffler's heel, it's the putting. And I think Tiger said it best. When he can't putt, he'll be in the top 25. When he putts average, he'll win the tournament. And when he's putting well, he'll blow everybody out. He wasn't putting well in the first round, so I cooled off on that bet and I didn't make it. That's when I got to the prop bet on which African golfer is going to finish highest on Sunday, and that won me some loot. Probably won't make that bet again because I thought it was just for the first round. I didn't know it was for the whole tournament. So I had to sweat it out for 4 days. But he just looked like he was, this much off. But I'm saying that to agree with you. This much off T4.
And he was hurt, right?
Right.
I mean, I think his back was hurt. Izzy was messaging us on that. We took a look at it, and and I think that kind of might have even showed a little bit on. I think it was Saturday, right? Saturday he had, what did he shoot? 64.
Yeah.
No, it was. I'm sorry, was it Sunday? No, it was Saturday. I think it might have been Sunday actually. Maybe he shot 69. So I guess Saturday he shot 64. But you're watching that thing, and I think he was like 7 under through 9 holes or 7 under through 11, and you're like, man, we're on 59 watch here, and it just seemed like, he kind of just hit a wall, and I was thinking at that time, man, I wonder if his back's barking again at him because it's not something you normally see of him. When he has the pedal down like that, you usually see him press forward.
Yeah. Well, so 2 other quick things here. First off, I heard something on Sunday that I thought I would never hear in the history of golf, but I heard it from a member of the Swing Collective who shall remain nameless, who said to me, I put a significant amount of money on Ricky Fowler to finish top 5. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Here's what I never thought I'd hear anybody say until I heard it. He said, and then I doubled down on Ricky Fowler to finish top 5. And that takes cannonball-sized cojones whenever you hear somebody said, I doubled down on Ricky Fowler. So I was rooting for the man who shall remain nameless. It was Ando. And I'm really, really sorry that it didn't work out. But it just goes to show that you have got cojones, my man, to double down on a bet like that. So I'm not laughing at you. I wish you would have won, because it takes balls to make that bet. So
I mean, I've experienced this before with some other golfing situations. I had one last year with a guy that hooked a ball into the woods. But you don't expect a guy to, I think Ricky Fowler at one point in the final round was like 2 under, and he looked like he was managing, and then I think he threw up a triple, and I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, here we go.
Yeah, well, the only thing I can think of is somebody called his caddy and said, hey, Ando doubled down on you. That's the only thing I can think of, man.
Yeah.
But and then the other big compelling storyline other than that was, hey, guys, interested in getting your take on the Memorial. Obviously, we've got our guy who suddenly is the hottest thing in golf leading the tournament. That's great. We've got, of the 72 golfers that are in the field, less than a third of them, 22 of them are even par or better. The other 50 golfers are over par. So Muirfield's playing tough. Justin Thomas would be in last place if it was not for Daniel Berger. He threw up an 8 over today. So I didn't know that was possible out of JT, man, the way he's been playing. But he did
wild.
it. But JT is chilling tonight, ready to go after it again tomorrow. And I know at dinner he's saying, dear Lord, thank you for Daniel Berger going +9, because this is a no-cut event, and I don't want to finish last. So anyway, I bet
the 3 of them shock me, man. Daniel Berger's he was hurt for a few years. He's been back. He's been playing great. I mean, he might play himself onto the Ryder Cup team. That guy's been playing great golf this year. Yeah. So him and JT, it's kind of
not with a +9.
Yeah, and JT, look, man, if there was a prop bet on what JT does tomorrow and Saturday, he will get it close to red numbers. I mean, he'll be okay. He'll find a way. JT is not going to fall apart like this.
Watch, I'm calling it now. It's going to be either tomorrow or Saturday that he shoots the course record.
Right, ties the
Wow.
course record or something, man.
He's done it before.
He's done it twice this year.
Yeah, that's right.
But the thing I really want to hear from you guys about, with regard to Muirfield, is not on the course. Okay, there is a name conspicuously absent from this week's signature event, and that's Mr. McIlroy is not.
Oh, I thought you were going to say me.
No, man, but the way you're playing, you should be.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, man, you're winning championships in New York. Maybe you need to be in Ohio. But Mr. McIlroy's not there. Okay, that's one thing.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with not being there.
Second signature event that he's missed. A second elevated event that he's missed this year. All right, first one was after the Masters. Man wanted to go home and rest. Whatever.
He's constipated. He's not there. Fine. Maybe he has a family thing. You're not there. Okay. Fine. Right. But
you know what I want to talk about. So
I know what you want to talk about.
Yeah, Jack was giving an interview earlier in the week. He said, I didn't hear from the guy. And, it is pretty common knowledge if you follow golf that if you're one of the world's elite players and an event's being hosted by a former, PGA, we're thinking about Arnie at Bay Hill, or we're thinking about, the Memorial here. It's being hosted by, a former PGA great. If you're a top flight golfer and you're not going, you reach out, you give them a heads up. It's well publicized. Ricky Fowler one time drove to see Arnie and have dinner with him to let him know he wasn't going to play Bay Hill. Jack says, I didn't hear from Rory. Matter of fact, Rory reached out to me in the week leading up to the Masters to get some pointers on how to play the course. I have not heard from him since. I wrote him a letter, as is Jack's way, congratulating him on his Masters victory. He didn't hear back. And Rory ghosted him and didn't show up at the Memorial. So my question to you fellas, is that fine that he did that? Does Jack need to get over it? Nobody owes you a phone call, Mr. Nicholas. Or do you think Rory's in the wrong here? I'm curious to see what you guys think.
Izzy.
I'd say there's precedent that you follow. And also it's just kind of a respect thing. But part of me thinks I don't really see Rory McIlroy as the type of person to do that. He's whenever the LIV split happened, he was one of the most vocal proponents of that not happening. He's very much about legacy and respect in the game and that sort of thing. So part of me thinks maybe something happened that hasn't been talked about yet, or information released where he's very clearly preoccupied with something. That's my prediction. I don't think he would just do that out of disrespect or laziness. I don't see him as that type of person.
I disagree. I think it was a message. Rory has tried to consciously separate himself from being the face of the tour with the LIV PGA things going on. I think that he made it abundantly clear when he took a little break after the U.S. Open last year that he was doing it for his mental well-being in mind. I think Rory is in a spot now, and rightfully or wrongfully so, I don't think that he gives a shit what anybody on this podcast or frankly anyone in the golf media thinks about how he handles his business. I think Rory's decided at the end of the day, I have to answer to Erica, to Poppy, and to Rory McIlroy and Rory McIlroy Incorporated. And you know what? Maybe I wanted to send Jack a letter and maybe I didn't get around to it, but I wasn't going to take time away from the things that are important to me to go out of my way to do that. And you know what? We're grown men. I'll see Jack down the road in a few weeks somewhere and I'll say, hey, you know what, man? Sorry, I forgot to send you a letter. I was mowing my lawn and then my baby was sick. And then I had to go to a softball game that I didn't get home to till 8:30 at night. And I had a podcast I had to do at 9:00. And I just had a bunch of stuff that happened in life. And I forgot to send you a letter. And we're cool. If you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. If you're not, I don't care. I really like this new Rory McIlroy. I don't think it was a malicious thing. I don't think that it was something that he planned to not do. I think that he's smart enough to know that if he didn't respond to him, it would blow up. But I think that he's kind of at the point right now where he's like, you know what? I've won the career Grand Slam. Um, I'm just going to go out. I'm going to play golf, and I'm not going to take this stuff so seriously. And maybe everyone else needs to stop taking stuff so seriously as well, and they'll start having a lot more fun.
Fair enough. So I get to break the tie here, fellas, and I don't know that I'm going to break it. I think maybe I'm just gonna leave something right on the line. I agree with both of you. If you are Roy McIlroy and you don't want to call Jack, you forgot, it wasn't a top priority of yours, whatever. Fine. Yeah, man, you're a grown ass man. You do whatever it is that you want to do. And I agree with you, Ando. You got to answer to the man in the mirror. You got to answer to Eric and Poppy. That's all you got to do, right? But we don't have to like it. And if you have a problem with it, if you have a problem with him bucking tradition and not showing the proper respect, I think that's very valid too. And I live my life very much the way you're talking about, Ando. I try to do the best. I try to treat people the way that I feel like they deserve to be treated. I try to show grace. But at the end of the day, if you don't like what I'm doing, I'm not losing any sleep over it as long as I don't feel like I've wronged you. And Rory has not wronged Jack. But it does buck legacy, and we don't have to like it. But y'all know that I'm not afraid to make some pretty definitive predictions here on this podcast. And every once in a while, they're right. Not very often, but sometimes they're right. Let me make one here. We all collectively, the golf community, talked a lot about is Rory McIlroy now freed up, and is he going to win? Is the floodgate open on the majors rolling in, or does he checked off kind of the last thing on his list, and now maybe he's not invested, or he doesn't care about winning more, whatever you want to put on it. I'm not going to quantify that. But here's what we've seen after the Players. Okay, he had that little dust up with the kid and the cell phone, and then he went to the media tent, and the reporter asked him, "Can I ask you about that?" And Rory said no. The reporter said, "Why not?" And Rory said, "Because I don't want you to. I don't want you to ask me about that." And then he wins the Masters. That's great. He skips the RBC. Now he's skipped the Memorial. He skipped out on Jack. He had the whatever you want to call it about his driver, whether that's a big deal or not a big deal, but he would not talk to the media after that because he didn't want to get into it. I don't blame him. Maybe there was nothing there and he didn't want to feed into it, whatever. But what I'm seeing here is Rory is very much checking out, and it's via con Dios. And he will play when he wants to play, and he will do what he wants to do. And to your point, Ando, he won't answer for it because he's going to be his own man. I think that's fine, but I think I'm coming down on the side that I'll believe that he's going to win a ton more majors when I see it. I wouldn't be surprised if he caps out at about 4 or 5, and that's it. So
or he's at Oakmont right now, and he's been at Oakmont for the past month.
Perhaps.
And all he now cares about is winning majors. And I don't care. Maybe he's taking the 2018 Brooks Koepka approach and saying, you know what?
Could be.
Cool with your little tournaments and your little, that's cute. You guys have your little Charles Schwab challenges and this and that. But from now on, I'm going to be Rory McIlroy Majors Incorporated, and I'm going out. I'm winning Opens. I'm winning Masters. I'm winning British. I'm winning Open Championships. And if I get a chance to make these other tournaments, cool. But if not, I'm preparing for these things. Now,
and if he is, dude, wonderful. Because I like Rory McIlroy. And to your point, if he's going to be, I answer to myself and I don't give a rip what you think. I like that attitude. So I'm not hating on the man. And I would agree with what you're saying, except he's playing in the Canadian Open next week.
So is he? I didn't see that.
So why, and again, maybe a damn good reason. Maybe he wanted to get his Oakmont licks in this week when the cameras aren't there, because sure as hell going to be there next week. But I would expect him to play the Memorial and skip the Canadian Open. He's doing it the other way around. I don't know,
Yeah, no,
but
I hear you on that.
until I see him win some more majors, I don't know. I think we're kind of seeing the Rory McIlroy that's like, all right, the monkey's off my back. I can be loose, and that might not be conducive to winning a lot more. But we'll see. But I wish he just would have reached out to Jack.
The one thing I will condition that on, and I need to look this up, but I think that I could be correct here, but I could be wrong. I do believe that he's an RBC Global Ambassador, so I think that's why he's playing the Canadian Open is because of a
Okay.
uh, sponsor
So,
agreement.
so the RBC, how does that affect? And I'm asking because I don't know, but how does that affect him skipping Hilton Head? Was that just he's playing
Oh,
the
that's a great
Canadian
question.
Open?
I don't know the answer. I don't know. That's a great
So
that's a great point.
and I'm not disagreeing with you. Maybe it's, hey, I got to play the Canadian Open because I skipped
Yeah,
the Harbor Town, and I had to skip Harbor Town because I just won the Masters and wanted to go home. My
right,
mind wasn't on it. And that's fair. That's fair.
right.
It's fair. Whatever he chooses to do is fair. But give Jack a call, man.
Yeah, you don't have to
Jack went
write a
out of his
letter.
way to help you prepare for the Masters. Give the man a call. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Izzy, I think I cut you off, brother.
No. I was just saying. I was saying like you don't have to write him a letter. You could just shoot him a text. Maybe he wouldn't get a text. I don't know if Jack Nicklaus
You think Jack texts?
is too tech savvy.
Jack strikes me as the guy who has somebody around that has a phone that maybe I'll get your message. Or
What did he
something.
say?
But the thing that drives me crazy about this stuff, guys, and we just have to remember, right? Like, and we can continue to discuss this or move on or whatever you guys want to do. But we're getting the one-sided viewpoint from from somebody that asked a question in a press conference today. There is a damn good chance 2 minutes that Jack Nicklaus walked off stage, his phone was ringing, and it was Rory saying, "You know what, man? I am so sorry. You are right. I should have called you. I forgot to call you." And Jack's not going to run up on stage and say, "Hey guys, Rory just called me. It's all
Right,
good now."
right.
Like,
We're fine.
so just
Yeah.
we got to be careful with some of that media
You're right.
stuff, and take it with a
You're
grain
right.
of salt. That um, who knows? Yeah, maybe Rory did call him, and his assistant answered and forgot to pass the note along. I mean, I don't. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. There's
Could be.
a
If
billion
Jack's writing
things.
you a letter congratulating you on the Masters, it tells me he's not exactly the
Yeah,
texting guy.
With the
Elton
times,
John, I heard a
yeah.
good story about Elton John too. Elton John wanted to wish Rory McIlroy congratulations for winning the career Grand Slam. So Rory gets a call from somebody in Elton John's orbit, and he said, "Sir Elton would like to call you. So I'm going to try to work with your team to schedule when Elton John will have a phone that we can actually give it to him so he can talk to you." So apparently, Sir Elton John does not walk around with a cell phone all the time. They have
that's
to
funny.
make plans for him to have access to a phone. And to which I say, hell yeah, Elton John. I don't want
Ed Sheeran.
I
Well,
can't
listen, it could be maybe Elton John can't have a phone because he's going to call somebody else for something else that could get him into
right.
trouble.
Right.
He's had some
But
issues in the past, so
all I know in my life, I get to carry two cell phones, and I bet there's at least one other person on the collective that does the same. And that's too many sometimes, man.
Golly,
I,
yeah.
I got a
I
damn
have the
cell phone
one.
ringing around here, and I don't know which one it is that's ringing. So
yep.
it's ridiculous. So
Well, gentlemen, I think we have time for one more subject. Bird, you want to kind of take us into the changes, the Tour Championships scoring
yeah,
system?
man. So that was the other big news this week, and it's the Tour is doing, and hats off to the PGA Tour for doing this. They're getting rid of the staggered start on the Tour Championship. So now the leader of the FedEx Cup standings will not start 10 under. The second place gentleman will not start 8 under, and so on and so forth as they start the tournament. Everyone will start at even par, like every other tournament that they play, during the year. So no more staggered start at the Tour Championship. Universally applauded by players. Scotty, who has had mixed results, I think he's had the lead 3 times, and he's got 1 FedEx Cup. So and tried to give that one away for a hot second before he clamped down on it last year. He applauded that and said, "Man, we don't like the staggered start. We being the pros, we want it to be just like every other tournament, let's just all start square. Now, the problem that creates is that you win the FedEx Cup or you're leading the FedEx Cup all year and you get to the final, the tour championship, and then you get nothing for
Yeah,
being the leader.
what's the pro of being
Right.
in the lead?
So I think Scotty had some comments about that, and they had talked about maybe doing some other stuff, and just it didn't work out. But you know, I've always, well, I was a legacy NASCAR fan back in the day. And, the Winston Cup days of NASCAR, hey, the person with the most points at the end of the year was the champ. And if you clinched it with 2 or 3 races to go, good on you. And now they have the playoffs and they keep the top 4 drivers relevant to the very end. And any one of those 4 can still win the cup in the last race of the year. I know we want drama, but now I don't particularly like the fact that we're going to get into the final tournament of the year, and if you're first in the points or you're 10th in the points, just win the tour championship and you can win the FedEx Cup. Let's make it points based. And if Scotty Scheffler dusts the field and he's got that damn thing locked up before they tee off on Thursday, you're still playing for the right to be the tour champion. You can win that last tournament of the year. That's still pretty good strokes. You just don't win the FedEx Cup. It's already been decided. I know that takes a lot of drama out, but isn't that better, guys, than just, well, I don't know, anybody can still win the FedEx Cup? I mean, it's a tough position, but I don't know a better way to do it. What do you think?
I mean, the only way to do it would be to do bracketed match play, but nobody's
They
interested in
talked
watching
about
that.
that. Yeah, they talked
I
about
don't.
that, and they got rid of that
I
too. I
don't
would
think.
love to see that. That'd be fine with me.
I don't think there's mass interest in that style. That would be the only real way to, you match the guys. I mean, that I've heard. I mean, maybe Ando, you've heard something different, but
No, they got rid of the
I
staggered
don't see
start. They
the
talked
draw.
about the brackets. Maybe you could give the brackets and you could have a first round bye. I mean, that's how everybody else does it, right? You're the top seed in the NFL playoffs, and you're a conference. You get a bye, and then you got to win some you got to win some games.
Yeah,
So you could do maybe a first round bye, get into the round of 16 or whatever you want to do, and then maybe once you get to the round of 8 on Saturday, make it stroke play the rest of the way for there. And if you make it into the top 8, it's stroke play. I don't know. That seems convoluted too. Ando, what do you think, man? Is there a better way to do it?
How do they determine the amateur champion of golf in the United States of America?
That's match play, right?
It's match play, right? There's a stroke play component and then a match play component, right? So you
Yeah.
qualified all year through the stroke play. It frustrates the hell out of me. First of all, shout out to 2311 Racing. Love those guys. Bubba, Ross Chastain, right? Great. That's my squad. So you know where I stand there, Birdman. Back to golf though. I don't understand what the big issue is with these guys boxing out a week to do a damn match play event. Listen, you don't even need to give a bye. They don't give buys in the NCAA tournament. I mean, you have the first 4. If you want to do some component of the last 4 for PGA, that's fine. But make Scotty Scheffler the 1 seed, make Adam Scott or whoever, the 64, whoever's there, let them play it out. And you know what? Tough shit, man. I'm sorry. That's great. You won 7 events this year. You lost in the first round. You lost in the first round. And look, if you really want to get technical on it, then make it like your local country club, tournament. Maybe you give the guy strokes. Maybe he gets, based on his finishing position, he gets strokes on 5 hole. I don't. I mean, I think that's a dumb idea too.
I think you're
Just let
just
him.
saying that so you can get into it because you're a
Yeah,
champion
that's
at your
right.
at your
That's
club.
right. I could be tour champion, but no. All jokes aside, it's such a tired argument to me that these guys can't figure it out. It drives me. It drives me nuts every year. I don't think that the staggered start way was the way to go, but I think that it's much, much, much better than just saying, "Oh, you know what, guys, we're going to scrap that and we're just going to let it go at the end of the year." And maybe Izzy's boy Akshay Bhatia that couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, finds magic on a Sunday. So he's gone 75, 74, 73, 59 on a Sunday. He'll never shoot 59 again. He wins the tour championship. 5 years from now, I'm like, what the fuck is Akshay Bhatia doing as a tour champion in PGA Tour history? So I don't think that's
he's
the
only
way.
5 out of the
because
league this
Sunday's
week.
the only day he can't get hot on.
It's a good point. So
He's hot Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
and then he cools off.
He shoots the 59 on Thursday and then gets a big enough lead that they have to chip away on him.
He's only 5 out at the Memorial. So every time I see that name, I'm
a lot of golf, a lot of golf left. That'll change quickly.
He shoots 2 under. He's 8 under going into Sunday. He's only like 2 or 3 back from the lead going into Sunday last week, and then he shoots 4 over.
Man, hey, he's like me. His game is somewhat like me. Let me just rephrase that. And oddly enough, SK and I both play from the correct side of the ball. That's almost say.
Yeah, that's the only similarity.
His game is somewhat like mine. He can't put 4 rounds together to win a tournament, and most of the time I can't put 4 shots together to finish a hole at par. So our games are very similar. SK, I know you're a friend of the collective. I'm rooting for you, my man. Rooting for you finally. Hey, one last thing before we close this, just because it'll be stale by the time we get to next week. Here on the collective, we always like to do welfare checks, and we like to check on that golfer or someone that's fallen on hard times. And I'd like to call an audible here, and I'd like to do a welfare check if I could. And it's I'd like to do a welfare check on Live Golf. You guys okay over there? You feeling good? Because listen, man, big news with Live Golf this week is they're letting guys know when your contracts are up and it's time to re-up. Not gonna be a huge payout like it was first time around. You can stick around and play for the money in the tournaments, which I would just like to remind everyone on the Swing Collective is money that's very similar to the elevated events on the PGA Tour now, with no cuts and so on. So, does Bryson stick around? Does Brooksy stick around? DJ, I don't know, man. Could Live Golf in 12 months' time be John Rahm and a bunch of nobodies? So Live Golf, I'm just reaching out to you guys. Are you okay? Is there anything the collective can do for you? Guys, what do you think about that news this week?
I mean, I feel bad for John Ross. Well, wow. I mean, that pains me to say. I feel bad for a guy that just got paid $500 million, right? I mean, so financially, I don't feel bad for him, but it's kind of like he's railroaded there. He's stuck, and now you also got to remember the PGA Tour hasn't said we're going to let these guys walk back either. So maybe maybe they end up sticking around there because they don't have a place to go. But you got to think there's a way that they're going to figure it out. It's a complex dynamic. It certainly throws another wrench into it, and I think they lose a lot of their leverage and negotiating power with that announcement. I also did just want to say I haven't seen anything official from anyone affiliated with Live Golf or from any golfers with Live Golf stating the validity of some of this stuff that's kind of leaked out. So I think we need to press pause on that too, just to make sure it's real.
Good point. Except Live Golf's not exactly going to come out and say, we would just like to corroborate the fact that we're not paying anybody any large sums of money to stick around.
Yeah, but you also haven't heard anyone like Bryson or something come out and say, I'm disappointed to hear that because Bryson in the past has certainly, and Brooks Koepka as well, they've been vocal about some things that they dislike in terms of their experience at Live. So I'm just surprised that we haven't seen one of them come out yet and say, I'm very disappointed in these new developments from Live or something along those lines. So.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Me too. I'm a big Bryson fan. I like his YouTube channel. Hell, if I had a Bryson hat, I'd wear it. I mean, I love Bryson DeChambeau, but I noticed he came out, many weeks ago, and he said, "Well, I'm excited about Live. I'm excited about the future." And when the cameras are off and there's no microphones around, I bet you he's like, "How many effing days do I got to stay in this place before I can bolt back to the PGA Tour?" I mean, what else is he going to say except,
Yeah.
I'm excited about the future. It's not if he came out today and said, "Yeah, man, this time next year I'll be playing the Memorial." And imagine the shitstorm that would cause. So I appreciate what you're saying, Ando. I don't disagree with you. They have been critical in the past about things they don't like, but I think at this point there's nothing to be said. They're just waiting for the clock to expire, and we'll see. I agree with you. We don't know what the PGA Tour is going to do or not do to let those guys come back, but pop your popcorn because there's not too much time. We're about to find out.
Well, they don't, but you got to also remember they don't have to be transparent about it, right? I mean, there could be a caveat to that. We're not paying these big signing bonuses except for the $200 million we just gave Bryson DeChambeau that we have a confidentiality agreement, so no one's ever going to know about it. Maybe that's why you're not hearing anything either. Like, yeah, we're not gonna pay Harold Varner the third another $100 million to hang around. Sure, I get that, but I bet you there's some guys like Jocko Neiman, Cam Smith, Bryson DeChambeau. Something in my gut just tells me that there's a path on the back end if they really want to make that thing work, that they're going to figure out how to get some money in those guys' pockets and make them hang around.
Well, this is for another time. We don't have to spend any time on this, but the question is, what's the number that you'd have to pay Bryson DeChambeau to have him stick around? That's a question that I would love to have answered, because if whatever he got, what did he get? 300 million? I don't know.
Yeah.
And if they said, "Hey man, we'll give you another 300 million to stick around," I don't know, man. Colin Cowherd on his show years ago said something that's always stuck with me. You can't be happier than happy. So
yeah,
does Brooks and Bryson and those guys, do they have enough money that another 300 million? Nah, I'm good with the 300 million I already got. I want to go win some tournaments and legacy on the PGA. I don't know, but it's worth talking about as we get closer to that day. I can't wait to see what happens.
I mean, I don't know what you're referring to about legacy though. I mean, the Live has the Singapore event that's like the Masters. I mean, that's going to go down in history as one of the most important golf championships that's around. So,
and who won that this year? Who was?
Oh, did he? Oh, yeah.
I think he
right,
did.
he did. Yeah.
So there you go. Legacy cemented. You're right. Forget the 2 U.S. Opens. I won in Singapore. You're right.
Are you saying it is?
When it comes, if it's strictly a money thing, it doesn't have to be a lot of money for them to get him to stay, because theoretically, even if, let's say, Bryson went on a generational run, if he switches back to PGA and he wins every tournament, what is that? $150 million max that he can make winning every tournament. So if they say, "Hey, here's $100 million," I mean, he's already made more than he likely would have by multitudes if he switched and played to win. So
Correct.
If he does switch back again, like you guys were saying, it's strictly going to be a legacy thing. He's got plenty of money. Like you said, there's only so happy that you can be before your monetary situation doesn't change it. So I just wish Liv would go back to the depths from which it came.
Yeah, but then the question becomes: is your legacy always going to be you're one of the guys that jumped the Liv and then came back? I don't know how important that's going to be generations from now. Maybe it won't matter at all. But
if he comes back and he wins a bunch, no one will remember it.
Won't matter.
No,
doesn't bother me now, man. I'm enjoying his content. It's something about his videos on YouTube that when he just rolls into a muni or a public course and tries to break the course record, I watch every single one of those, man. It's pretty fun. Yeah. Fellas, never does an hour plus fly by until the collective gets together talking golf. So,
so before we leave, some things I didn't get a chance to talk about tonight that I want to spend some time on. NFL schedule came out. Pretty excited about that. New Morgan Wallen album. It's a banger. I think 37 tracks were in the top 50, Billboard top 50 the day it came out.
Yeah.
Shout out to
And
Morgan
great and a
Wallen.
damn good golfer too, by the way.
Is he?
Oh, is he really?
Damn good golfer. Yep.
I didn't know that. I got to read into that. Is Puff Daddy going to jail for life? Probably. And the only other thing I didn't get to talk about was French Open tennis French Open parlay betting. Stay away from it. Anyone needs questions on why, consult me. I'll fill you in. So that's all I got.
Leave a comment.
Ando is telling you about bets sure to go wrong. Listen to him.
Right.
He once doubled down on Ricky Fowler.
So that's a fact. And that's not even the worst thing I did last weekend in terms of betting. So,
No.
Well, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Everyone watching, please like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. Super happy to have you guys as part of the collective. Next week, we're going to review the tournament that's going on right now, and we're going to have a preview for the U.S. Open coming up. So
lovely. It's going to be here before you know it. The question I want us all to answer next week is the winner of the U.S. Open. Are they below par or above par? That'll be a topic for next week.
Ooh.
Special shout out to one of our newest listeners and subscribers. It was clutch to hear from you today, Drew. Thanks for listening, brother. Maybe we'll have you on the show if you ever pick up golf, right? But
can't wait to talk about that 300-yard par 3 at the U.S. Open. We can talk about that next week.
Oh, God.
Damn right.
All right, everybody.
Like and subscribe. Share this with one person. You'll make their week. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys next week.